alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hello, and welcome to Alive After Reading. I'm Tim Niederreiter, and I didn't stumble over the first word of the podcast. I did not. I'm a professional, and with me today is my new guest, Christina Krauss. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. We've been chatting a fair amount before the show, but hey, that's how it always is, folks. If there was a way you could get in on the conversation before the show, well, there isn't, so I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop taunting you. That was fun. Anyway, but we're going to have some more fun now. So off we go. Christina, what have you been? What kind of stuff do you write? And what are you putting out there in the world?
So right now I'm writing a children's book series. I've only published the first book in the series at this point. It's a true story based on my rescue cat Teddy, who came into my life when I was fostering animals over the pandemic to keep my family entertained and wanting to stay at home. And we ended up fostering Teddy from the Heart and Soul Rescue Organization in Abbotsford after we had just had a litter of kittens at Christmas time. And we noticed that, I wasn't quite ready to foster another animal yet because I just got rid of the 4 kittens. They got adopted to their new families. And I just kept seeing Teddy on the website for the Heart and Soul Foundation. And if these cats don't get someone committing to adopting them or committing to fostering them, I should say, they don't get a space on the truck for transport from Saskatchewan or Alberta to BC, and then potentially they'll be euthanized. So nobody was volunteering to rescue this cat or foster it because he had no ears. He lost them due to frostbite, and in his fostering photo, he looked kind of angry and maybe a bit of a misfit cat. So I just kind of kept my eye on him, and no one was requesting him. And I asked the children, do you want to give this cat a chance? I mean, he looks different than all the other cats, but maybe he's still worthy of love. So they were all for it. The kids wanted us to give Teddy a chance, and we brought him here to our house, and he inspired all these stories. And I feel like there's an educational point to keeping your cats indoors during the winter time. So his injuries are 100% preventable, and he turned out to be the most amazing cat. We adopted him, and he's here with us today.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, we're coming up to our 1-year Gotcha Day anniversary with Teddy.
Oh, yeah. I used to have cats. They're one of my, well, obviously, between dogs and cats, it's a tough question, but I like cats better, I think. I'm a cat person.
So am I. I realize that. Teddy just is like a dog, though. He sits on my lap all the time, follows me to the washroom, follows me to the front door. Wherever I go, that cat is there.
Nice. That's sweet. I gotta say, though, nothing. I was gonna say, it's a good thing he's nice, because, this is the one problem I would have with a cat without ears, is if they were unhappy, it's hard to make them chill out without their ears, because they have so many muscles in there. If you get the cat by the ears, you can make them, purr pretty fast. At least that's my experience. Because you can massage them there, and they're like, oh yeah, they're like, okay, fine, I'll chill out.
Well, Teddy's absolute favorite thing is actually getting his ear nubs massaged and rubbed, but he can't purr. Oh. He lost his ability to purr from the frostbite as well. Just the extreme cold weather, I think, affected his respiratory. So he can't purr, but I can tell you he's very happy to have a nice warm home.
Excellent.
Not really interested in going outside anymore.
Well, yay. I mean, if you got the warmth and the food and all that stuff, the loving family, what do you need to go outside for anyway?
Exactly. But Teddy does have a bit of an attitude, though. He still feels like he has to swat at me to make me notice him and give him food. But we hope he feels safe enough soon to, get rid of that instinctual behavior.
Well, hey, if he's swatting at you, it means he's comfortable enough that he knows you're not going to hurt him. He's just like, okay, I can bother you.
Oh, that's a good perspective. Yes, that's true. He can feel safe here.
He's the boss, at least. Even if he's not going to be your, even if he doesn't feel like he's your friend, he feels like he can push you around, which is probably better than the alternative.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so when it comes to writing this book, because this show is a lot about writing, even though we do love our cats on this podcast here, or the cats I wish I had. Let me put it that way. No current living situation, no cats, but yeah, whatever.
We should think about getting one and rescuing one because those make the best pets.
Oh, absolutely! My first cat was a rescue. She was sweet, and she didn't purr either. Really, I mean, you could feel it if you held your finger to her throat, but she didn't make any noise really.
Right.
Yeah. Very, 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 very cute little tabby. Yeah, real basic but real cute. You know, that's how they go. I feel actually I'm not saying she's basic. I'm saying I'm basic because that's still my favorite color of cat. It's like there's so many of those. It's so easy to get. I'm just an easy cat person, I guess. Like okay, that's a cat. I'm down. Let's pet it. Let's have a good time. Let's have a fun. Make friends. Yeah. Anyway, so as I was trying to get off the topic of how adorable felines are, and can't seem to. I was gonna say. So, what was the writing process like for your book? I mean, did you have to hire an artist? How did you go about doing all that stuff?
Yeah. So initially, I was going to. My daughter, she's 8 years old, and she's just a really great artist. And Teddy has such an inspiring story. I thought maybe her and I could co-write and illustrate a book together. I thought that would be kind of cute. But being 8 years old, she didn't really follow the storyline at all and just kind of like wanted to write her own story and write the illustrations that did fit. So I was actually on Marketplace one day on the Handmade British Columbia website for local artisans, and somebody posted a picture of handmade cards. And it was a picture of a cat, and it was exactly what I had in mind, how I wanted Teddy to look in the cartoon. And I reached out to her and asked her to just paint me a picture of my cat, and she absolutely nailed it. And I when I met her in person to pick up those paintings she made for me, I asked her if she'd be interested in illustrating and a children's storybook with me, and that I'd already written the stories, and if she could take a look at them, and she agreed. Her name is Sierra Van Ness. She's we just literally met on social media, and she's amazing. She hand paints every picture in this book, which is very unique for children's books these days.
Oh, that's awesome. This is really kind of like kind of old school, actually. Like, I mean, I remember some of the books I had when I was a kid. I mean, for some reason, the only one that comes to mind is this one that I'm like, I don't know why I had this book. I was raised Catholic, but it was called Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins. If you've never heard of it.
Okay.
And
I haven't.
It's about this kind of folk hero from, I think, Poland. From like he's a Jewish folk hero from Poland, and his name's Herschel of Ostropol. He's a classic character, apparently. I only looked this up after the fact. As a kid, I just knew he was the guy who tricked a bunch of evil goblins out of stealing Hanukkah. But anyway, it's kind of funny how that works. But that book, the illustrations were at times kind of dark. It was kind of a Halloween meets Christmassy kind of vibe, because there's these creepy monsters and stuff that he's got to trick to get rid of them. Yeah. That
actually sounds like a story my daughter would really enjoy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, and the illustrations were, I'm not sure if they were hand painted, but they were very beautiful. And the book was probably 40 years old now, so at least.
Well, and that's something that keeps children's attention is the pictures and picturing themselves there and the details. In this book, too, on every page, we have a hidden mouse that the kids have to find. So it's kind of a little bit fun as well as reading a fun story and connecting with it. So they get to find, there's a multi-cat page with various teddies. They need to find the teddy, the real teddy, the one that has no ears. And Teddy's favorite, it's really cute, actually, and Teddy's favorite toy in real life is the mouse. So this book is nonfiction, and we try to incorporate all the truth about Teddy's story and real life.
That's beautiful. I mean, just a book that's, nonfiction, but it's just about a cat, about a cat with no ears. Hey. And yeah, that sounds like what a phenomenal concept. I don't know. I mean, being that I'm not 6 years old or 8 years old or whatever, I'm not sure how much I have to say about it beyond that. Sounds awesome. That sounds like a great concept. I don't know how much I can add beyond that.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I've had a lot of moms message me after they've read the book to their children, and they've said that their kids have had quite emotional response to it because, Teddy feels sad that he looks different from all the other cats, and children have a hard time sometimes fitting in and feeling different, but that's okay because just be yourself. And that's kind of what the story is about. Is a lot of people probably didn't want to foster Teddy because he looked different, but he just is who he is, and he's just a cat.
Yeah, and the poor kitty, it's not like he chose to be left out in the cold. Yikes, I mean, I don't think he would have done that if it was his option.
Right. He suffered a lot, and he deserved to be in a nice, warm, loving home. So I'm happy that we're the ones to provide that for him. So part of the reason I wanted to create the book was to help raise money for the Heart and Soul Rescue Organization because these cats, their lives, and dogs, their lives are being saved by just the dedication of these volunteers who are doing this out of the goodness of their heart. And since I was no longer contributing to helping by fostering other animals, because Teddy's really like a one cat house. I don't think anyone else would be welcome here. So I was just trying to help still contribute and raise money to their organization because they do really good work.
Oh, that's inspiring. You just keep giving back. You're just like, well, I got this cat, and now I guess I'm going to keep this one. So I guess we better help out in other ways. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny actually. Though what you said about him being he's a one house, one cat kind of cat. Yeah, I think that I have a family member who has the same kind of thing going on with her dog. It's like her dog is so sweet, just the sweetest dog, but it's like, no, doesn't want any other dogs around.
No, it doesn't need the competition. This cat gets all my attention.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to writing, I mean, what are we talking about for, the kind of, I mean, I wouldn't go to so far as to say how many words are in this book, but, I mean, what's the ratio of pictures to text in the book? Is it kind of at a level where there's not that many words actually, or I don't know?
Some pages have simply one sentence. Some pages have 2 or 3 sentences, and it's a 16-page illustrated book.
Oh,
and my children actually said, "Wow, this is a long book," but there were a lot of messages in the book about self-esteem, acceptance, listening, and just Teddy's journey and his story and the introduction of him, as a cat, being an outdoor cat and exploring nature and loving life until this storm hit and he found himself in a bad situation that changed his life forever. But at the end of the day, it's just all about acceptance. And, people talked about Teddy and asked him questions, but it wasn't because they were judging him. It's just because they liked him just the way he was, and they wanted to hear his story, and he inspired them.
Yeah.
Just being himself.
That's lovely. Let me see. I will try not to gush too much because I mean, like I said, cats, they got me. Cats have me. They own me. Just like, I mean, I had 2 cats at one point, but now all cats just they're in charge. They're the bosses. But anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So, what am I saying? I guess. I mean, how long did the book take you to write? I guess. I mean, you got whatever 20 sentences, 30 sentences in the book. So, but I'm sure there's a lot of intricacy goes into that because you've got to make them simple so the kids can get through them easily, and and still tell the story without any words. So I'm kind of interested in how you did that.
You're right, 100%. That was the hard part. It only took me a couple of hours, between working full time and my kids constantly chattering at me, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." So I had to sit down and try to focus in between their demands. And I just kind of jotted it out and then reread it over and over a few times over the course of a month or so, and made edits where I felt necessary just to simple the story down and make it clear and concise and right to the point so that kids could understand it.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple and using simple words that kids could understand and relate to was, yeah, that was the challenging part, is cutting it down and cutting it down.
Yeah, I find that really challenging too. I wrote one YA book. I guess I tried to write a couple back when I was a teenager. I wrote one that is never going to see the light of day. I have one that's out, but these are young adult, and they're mostly adult. You know, they're more on the adult side of it. But I just could not, mostly because I just can't. I couldn't tone down my language that much. I'm like, not like bad language, but yeah, I'm kind of a big word guy. I like my big words. I'm trying to say it as simply as possible. I could say erudite, but I think that's maybe putting on airs there. No, I like my big words. I like my fancy words. Maybe not big, but the words not many people use are often the right word. And I happen to have a pretty big vocabulary. I owe that to Calvin and Hobbes, though. You familiar with that?
Yes, oh yes.
Calvin and Hobbes was my favorite comic strip when I was a kid. We had all the collections. I don't know if he was even still in the papers when I was a kid, but my parents had all the collections, and it was just amazing. So
yes, a story about a boy and his cat.
Yeah, and his cat happened to be a tiger. His cat happened to be a tiger.
Since we're talking about the Sunday comic characters, I'm going to just relate Teddy a bit to Garfield, because book 2 that's coming out is called Teddy Loves Spaghetti. And I've said to people before, I think Teddy loves spaghetti more than Garfield loves lasagna.
Wow, wow. Does it have to have meatballs on it, though? I'm really curious about that.
Oh, Teddy loves the meat, loves the sauce, loves the noodles, everything. She will come and sit at the table. So spaghetti night is really the one meal we eat as a family. And this cat will not go on countertops or tabletops or anything. She's very well behaved. But he'll jump in between the kids and sit at the table like he's one of the family members because he wants that spaghetti.
Oh, wow.
Really funny.
That's actually pretty well behaved, though, for a cat, especially. I'm like, okay, I'll wait till it's the meal I really want, and then I'll sit at the table.
Yeah, and he sits there, and he's just, now we're a family of 5, and we'll give him a little bit of spaghetti because he absolutely loves it.
Oh, fantastic. I guess that's that's really funny. Yeah, Garfield, that's an interesting comparison, though. I mean, because Garfield is this kind of crazily omnipresent character in culture, which is, if you think about it, like, Garfield is everywhere, and especially if you're a kid. I mean, I never really read much Garfield when I was a kid, but geez, I know Garfield. I mean, everyone knows Garfield, right?
Of course, everyone knows Garfield, and I hope everyone knows Teddy. Teddy's
soon.
More of an inspiration, whereas Garfield's kind of the '80s version of Grumpy Cat.
Yeah. Oh, that's so on point. That's completely. Yeah.
I hate Mondays.
Yeah, the cat that needs coffee to wake up. Okay. I mean that's a pretty oppressed animal right there. He's not feeling so good.
And he talks down to his owner, John. Like he's definitely the one in control.
Yes. John is the most. He's just. He's completely cat whipped. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
The cat is running the show, and as it should be. Anyway, so as for kids, as for the message of acceptance, that also does resonate with me as much as I get distracted by the trappings of there being an adorable kitty in the book. But let me just say, because I grew up with I mean, I'm getting old now. At least I feel that way. But I grew up with autism spectrum disorder and a number of other weird abnormalities in my life. And so I always felt like I for a long time, especially as a younger teenager, I felt like I really didn't belong anywhere. I'm like, oh gosh. I mean, unlucky me, I had a great family. I still have a good family. But back then it was really important. Okay, I'm not going anywhere if I didn't have really caring parents and a good relationship with my brothers and stuff and my sister. But anyway, I just want to say that's really obviously that's a really important message. How do you did you think, was there any challenge to conveying that without that kind of thing, without being too heavy or getting the message wrong?
Yeah, actually some parents messaged me that their children cried on one of the pages, but then to follow up, they were happy in the end that Teddy felt accepted and loved by everybody just for being himself. And thank you for sharing your story. And part of a lot of my books are about normalizing feelings and just accepting people for who they are. So I do feel children are finding it very relatable.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I hope you get many more readers as far as that goes. I mean, it sounds like this book deserves to have a lot of kids reading it, and I think a lot of kids would be happy to more kids will be happy to have it in their lives, honestly, because those kids' books, they make an impact. They really did. I mean, they've really affected me, obviously, from the comics to when I learned to read from Calvin and Hobbes. That's where I learned to read. Yeah, there was school, but and that's a comic strip, but it's similar in the overall, its overall existence is similar.
Oh, I'm an Archie comics girl. I have a huge collection of Archie comics, and that's what I read growing up.
Wow.
I look forward to vacations and grocery shopping day to go to the used bookstore and buy your Archie comics, or your parents would buy you one comic at the checkout as your treat for behaving while you're shopping.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't really get into comic books that much, except for the paperback collections of the comic strips when I was a kid. I mean, I've read some comics now, but it took me a while. The slightly more grown up stuff, like, okay, what's that? What's going on? Or like when I go to my grandparents' house and like they'd put like Prince Valiant in the newspaper out in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, what is this? There's a knight in the newspaper and he's not really doing anything funny. What's going on here? I didn't quite get that at the time, but hey. What was the other one? As far as comics go, I really enjoyed, and this is actually much more, I wouldn't necessarily say it's adult, but it's not for kids. Let me say. There's no real content warning, but it's pretty mature as far as the themes go, is Schlock Mercenary. It's a web comic. It's mature as far as some of the themes. Obviously, the title and everything else about it is kind of juvenile in some ways to start with, especially. But like Schlock Mercenary by Howard Taylor, which he's one of the guys who does the Writing Excuses podcast, or at least he was last time I checked. Well, that's how I found it. I found it through the Writing Excuses podcast because I was so into podcasts when I was in college. But that's a daily webcomic. I think it's still going. But it's military space opera about this guy about this alien that looks like a pile of poop as the main character.
Oh.
He's a mercenary. He's Sergeant Schlock, and he looks like a pile of poop, as his name might suggest.
Oh, so maybe he inspired the poop emoji.
I don't think so. I think the poop emoji. Well, it's possible. The poop emoji does look a fair amount like him, but his mouth's way big. His mouth is way bigger. Let me put it that way. He eats things. He eats a lot. He just consumes monstrous amounts of food. Last time, again, and he has plasma cannons that he flies around on. He's a fun character. But that kind of thing is the all ages aspect of illustrated fiction or illustrated work is real, or nonfiction in your case, obviously, is really interesting to me. I can't illustrate. That's one of the skills. I'm like, rats. I'm not going to be picking that one up anytime soon. And I'm not really a collaborative guy. I don't think I have that kind of mode in my system.
Well, and that was the amazing thing about Sierra is I sent her the story and she knew exactly what I pictured each page to be. So we collaborate very, very well together.
Awesome.
She just reads the stories and she can visualize exactly what I want. And there's a few edits between the two of us, bantering back and forth about how we want the pages to look. But for the most part, she gets it, and that's why we work well together.
Awesome. So it's pretty painless. That's great.
It's been an easy process.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Where can people get the book, actually? I mean, we're winding down here, but yeah, so where can people find the book and find your stuff online?
Well, the easiest place right now is Amazon. It's available worldwide, amazon.com, CA,
awesome.
Or all over the world. So that's delivered right to your door. It's simple. It's easy.
Yeah.
So people can just Google Teddy Loses His Ears, and they'll see the book and the cover and what's coming next.
Awesome. So Teddy Loses His Ears.
We have a few.
Yeah, go on.
We have a few stories coming next. So Teddy Loses His Ears is the introduction, and then Teddy Loves Spaghetti. Teddy gets adopted, and Teddy goes to the vet, which has a surprise ending that I think readers will be really excited about.
Okay, I don't know why I laughed at that. I'm like, okay, maybe my mind was in the gutter. Anyway, so here we go. So yeah, Teddy Loses His Ears. That's out right now, folks. You should go check that out. Especially if you have a kid, kids who need to. Either a kid who likes animals. I mean, what kid doesn't like animals? We're not talking about unnatural demon children here. Yeah, go check it out, folks.
And what's really exciting is because Teddy is a real-life cat, the children in the community, I think their families go for walks in my neighborhood, specifically so they can see Teddy guarding my front porch, and they talk to him and pet him, and then they go home and read the story at night, and the kids have a reference point, and everyone loves Teddy. Teddy is just so cute. His little ears, he looks like a teddy bear, and that's where he got his name.
Little celebrity cat. Excellent.
That's right. Neighborhood celebrity.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, Christina, thanks so much for being on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Oh, excellent. It's always good to meet new people, and honestly, I mean, talking about cats for a few minutes, hey, that works. So, thanks for listening, everybody. As for this podcast, you can find our work at more of my stuff. Sorry, geez, I'm getting the high sign. I'm like, it's time to get out of here. But you can find more of my stuff at mentalcellarpublications.com. You can find all my books on amazon.com or at timneaterwriter.com/books. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe out there. And hey, if you see a cat, well, ask permission, but you can pet that guy. Most of them are going to like it. Anyway, so have a good one, folks. Stay safe out there. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
That tears it.